Hey JD, so yeah, easier for me to do video than type things up. So humility, when we were talking about it, I'll be real honest with you, weren't really talking about any specific verse when we were talking about humility, at least not when we were talking about the definition of it. We actually were looking online at a few different places regarding the definition, and most of the places we looked, it talked about the value of a person and kind of in regards to humility, being humble and what that means. There were one particular verse we were looking at. Here, let me pull it up here real quick. We were looking at Philippians 2, probably verses 5 through 11, I think is what we were talking about. And that one, I know you probably already know it really well, but it's referring more to the aspect of Jesus being humble in the fact that he came and died for us. However, the one thing that we really took out of that was more verse 5, where it says that we should have the same attitude. And so we kind of combined that with the idea of what the online dictionaries said regarding how humbleness is understanding one's self-worth. And we kind of mixed that in with what we saw out of the principles in the Bible, which was taking on the same attitude of Christ in humbling himself, and knowing who he was. And so we kind of combined that, and that's where we really came up with the understanding that humility is understanding one's self-worth in regards to God and how God feels about us. I would love to hear more about what you think, actually, because just scripturally, what you think of humility, maybe some particular verses that you feel describes what humility or being humble really is. To be honest with you, one thing that we were taking from this and talking more about was the idea of humble service and what that means. There's a whole long in-depth aspect of this, but really we were talking about what versus why. What we do versus why we do it. And being humble is the what, or is the why, sorry, is the why we serve, which is the what. So the why versus the what, the humility versus humble service. And so that's kind of what we were really talking about, the gist of the overall. But that's where we got the definition. I would love to hear from you of what your definition of humility is and where in Scripture you see that definition coming up. So, and by the way, you can share with video on here as well if you'd like to, but typing is fine as well, I guess. All right, talk to you later.